tonight's episode I'll be dissecting The Woman Who Fell to Earth from the brand new season of Doctor Who. We have a brand new showrunner, a brand new doctor, and a brand new direction for this 55-year-old program.
This is gonna be fun.
So first of all, I'm going to give my general impressions for this episode. Then as we move forward, I'm going to talk about some stylistic choices, the tonal shift, some character introductions, and the cinematography. My general impressions of this episode is I really liked it. And for one main reason, it took the subject matter seriously. It was dark and grounded and realistic and tonally it was right up my alley. It wasn't silly and inconsequential like a lot of New Who is.
So, anyone for dodgems?
The first two scenes, however, were very jarring for me, and I got the thought, oh no, this is going to be terrible. It opens up with Ryan on YouTube, and I personally come to sci-fi for escapism. I want to see the wonderful and the fantastic, not the mundane drudgery of modern day life. We then cut to Ryan, a grown man, trying to learn how to ride a bike, and it's revealed later on that he has dyspraxia, which is a disease where the electrical signal from the brain isn't able to communicate with muscles properly. So it leads to coordination problems. But when I first watched it, before they'd explained that, it just felt hokey, like they were trying to bleed me of sympathy for this character, and I just was like, oh no. So this episode introduces three new companions. This mirrors the crowded TARDIS eras of both Hartnell and Davison. We get Ryan, a young, disenfranchised man who's working a dead-end job and dealing with his medical condition and the untimely death of both his mother and his grandmother.
What about you? What are you up to?
Warehouse worker.
Oh, right. Like it?
Here.
We get Yasmin Khan, roll the clip. Yasmin is a junior police officer who wants to be taken seriously and push herself forward to new levels of success, although she's not yet had enough life experiences to achieve this.
I'm just saying I am capable of more than parking disputes.
And I keep telling you, don't run before you can walk.
Finally, we get Graham, a man in his mid-50s who retired from driving buses after he beat a bout of cancer. Graham seems to just want to relax and enjoy the last leg of his life.
I could have a word with some of my old pals from work. I mean, if you want to know what's happening, ask a bus driver.
He always says that.
Yeah, that's because it is true. I'd still be doing it now if I could.
Something that really stuck out to me was the cinematography for this episode. The cinematographer was really talented. There are a lot of nighttime environments and low light level scenes, and he did an amazing job of, in these situations, highlighting characters' faces and objects that we needed to see. Everything was always clear and concise, so we knew what was going on. We could see what was happening, but yet it was still dark and atmospheric and effective. It looked like a movie for the most part, not a low-budget BBC production, and it looked a lot better than the multi-million-dollar Solo.
Where's my sister?
So the question everybody wanted to know was, how will Jodie Whittaker be as the Doctor? And I think this episode was a great proof of concept for her to be the Doctor. I think she was cute, I think she was charismatic, I think she was jovial, and I think she carried the narrative well on her shoulders as the leading woman. We'll have to see later on down the track whether she has the emotional diversity to perform in a very diverse set of storylines. But as far as this episode goes, I liked her. Thought she did good.
There's echoes of who I was and a sort of call towards who I am. And I have to hold my nerve and trust all these new instincts, shape myself towards them.
The pacing for this episode was on point. The three-act structure unraveled itself at a satisfying pace as our protagonists followed the MacGuffin and solved this mystery piece by piece.
Poor woman.
That thing must have killed her as it came through.
Must it? Didn't kill anyone else. Looks more like she died of shock when it smashed through the window.
So the basic plot of this story is much like the concept for the movie The Predator. An alien comes down to Earth who is hunting a human as a cultural trophy. He implants our companions with devices in their collarbone that once they are detonated will disrupt the DNA within them and collapse them. Therefore, they need to follow the Doctor as she tracks down this villain and uncovers his plan.
Don't you move!
Wait, is that another alien? Looks like it. Why is she running at another alien?
Don't just stand there, come on!
This story was solid and straightforward. It was a good vehicle to introduce the Doctor and 3 new companions. Take note, Stephen Moffat, we don't need convoluted, complex storylines that you've written just to make us think that you're intelligent. Simple, effective storytelling. It works.
We stop the meeting, capture them, send them home, away from each other and away from Earth.
So one of the best aspects of this episode for me is that the antagonist is handled extremely seriously. He's dark, he's scary, and he's violent. The design is great. He takes teeth as trophies from his victims and implants them into his face. He's also threatening and carries tension. There's a scene where the Doctor is examining the mangled corpse of one of his victims, and I was watching going, whoa, this is dark for Doctor Who, and it's exactly what I want. A threatening villain with consequences.
You will never know.
So within all the dark, brooding aspects of this show, the Doctor was actually upbeat and jovial, which I enjoyed and I thought she pulled off. And there's a fun sequence where she creates the sonic screwdriver, which I liked. She didn't just get it from the TARDIS. This object has more significance now because she made it with her own hands. And the design was nice and modern and interesting. The score was really understated in this story. It didn't call attention to itself. It just sat in the background serving the story, and it created good atmosphere and tension when it needed to. The third act for the story was well executed. It wasn't over the top. It was very subdued. Jodie was given some quintessential Doctor Who dialogue, and I thought she pulled it off.
I know exactly who I am. I'm the Doctor. Sorting out fair play throughout the universe. Now please, get off this planet.
Grace, who is Ryan's mother and Graham's wife, also dies in the third act of this story. And while I felt nothing when she died, I wasn't emotionally invested in her character because I hadn't spent enough time with her. I think that this event is a great emotional catalyst for drama to happen between our characters later down the line in future stories. Once everything's been wrapped up, the Doctor gets a new costume from a thrift store, which I quite liked. It reminded me of Tom Baker, not how he got the costume, but the fact that his costume just looked like it was a bunch of random things that had been thrown together from a second-hand clothing store. So I liked that.
Well, how about this?
Much better, Doctor. Now, if you've quite finished with your wardrobe...
I'll try again if you like.
No, let's settle for that, please. Now,
Time
Doctor...
we were off.
I haven't quite warmed to a new outfit, but it got very little screen time in this episode. Once I see it in action in the second episode, I think I'll have a better idea of how I feel about it. But I actually really like Jodie Whittaker wearing the tattered remnants of Capaldi's coat.
That's what you're going with?
Yep.
So we get a cliffhanger at the end of this episode in the style of classic Who. The Doctor uses alien technology from that Predator guy to track her TARDIS and teleport to it. but the equipment is temperamental and it accidentally teleports Graham and Ryan and Yaz with her. And the final shots of this episode are all of them floating in the vast emptiness of space. Brilliant. So at the end we get a trailer showcasing the inclusive actors that the BBC has hired for this upcoming series. One of them being Lee Mack. When I see him I'm like, oh my god, it's Lee Mack. I just want to go on record to say that of course I don't care that the BBC is putting more women and people of non-Western backgrounds into Doctor Who. I don't care if someone's ethnic. That's fine. The only thing I care about is well-written, in-depth characters. Rey doesn't suck because she's a woman. She sucks because her character hasn't been developed properly. But this episode did a really good job of setting up all of these characters and who they are and how they feel and what they are deep down inside. So I hope in the future that they develop them and move them forward and explore their emotional core more. But as far as this introduction goes, well done BBC. Well done Chris Chibnall. In conclusion, I'm surprised how impressed I was with this episode. All the trailers that come out and the news from on set before I'd seen the episode, I got a bad feeling about it. I'm like, oh no, this looks terrible. And then I watched it and I'm like, wow, they're really taking this seriously. They're really trying to provide competent, well-executed storytelling with impact and stakes. If this is the baseline of quality moving on, then I am incredibly keen to watch more. Well done, Chris Chibnall. This was a well-written episode. And Jodie Whittaker, you did a nice job as a doctor, and I think that I will warm to you more in the future. Thank you for watching. It really helped out if you could like, subscribe, and in the comments tell me how I got all the facts wrong and how my opinion is null and void. Thank you, and good night.